I'm live in my car. I typically don't like to do lives unless I'm sitting down, but again, here we are because there's important messages that need to be said, and sometimes I don't have time to sit down and be able to have that conversation with you. I am so tired of listening to another video where someone is talking about this man did this this woman did this. I am tired of listening to another video or having another coaching session about how people love themselves so they're not going to settle and things like that, because a lot of people don't know what self-love is. I truly believe that when you love yourself, you will not get in some of these predicaments that you're in. And so I want to break down self-love for anyone who does not understand it. Self-love is not the same. It can encompass self-care, but it's not self-care in itself. So just because you make yourself look good, because you have great hygiene, because you're spending money on your clothes and your outer appearance, that does not mean you love yourself. It means you practice good self-care, but it is not the same as self-love. Self-love is when you understand who you are. You know your identity, you know who you are, you know whose you are, and you walk in it. You are confident in yourself, you are confident in your abilities, you are confident in what you have to offer. You are offering things, because a person who truly understands self-care is not just a receiver. If you're a woman, there's so many videos where they're telling a woman you are a receiver as a feminine woman, and that is true. But if you also understand, because this is why I don't like the hypergamy thing. You're trying to find a man who has better resources than you so he can provide, but understanding that femininity is not just a woman who receives, right? Because if you understand that when God has given us an opportunity for us to receive things, right? We also take what we receive and we multiply it, which means we are not just a receiver, but we know how to give value to something. We are given something and we can multiply it. And you hear people talk about, well, if a man buys you a house, you'll make it into a home. He gives you groceries and you make it into food. He gives you his sperm and you create a child, right? You hear these things, but sometimes people are just, sometimes when you regurgitate it, you're just saying it to say it. Because if you truly understand self-love, you understand that if you want peace, the man you should be getting with is peace. If you are a man who wants peace, the woman you should be with is a woman who is peaceful. um because a lot of times people are getting in relationships with people that are giving them nothing, no value of what they want. If you are a man and you're talking about peace, why are you with the woman who is so full of toxicity, who is always nagging, who is always combative? If you're a woman and you say you value yourself and self-love, that also encompasses self-respect. Do you respect yourself to not be in a relationship that's not best for you, that's not best for your child if you have it, that's not going to advance your career? Because every man in your life should be giving you value, right? And a lot of times women put so much value on money. A man can have money and still offer you nothing if he is emotionally and physically and mentally, right, annihilating you. And it's YouTube, so it's so many words I can say. But you're in a relationship and you're with someone who is not offering you anything. If you are a woman and you're supposed to be receiving and you're supposed to take that and multiply, what are you multiplying if someone is not offering you anything? You're so, as a woman in this modern society, we are so constantly like worried about a man's money, and he has no integrity. He has no good character. He is not rich in love. He is not rich in peace. In fact, there's a deficit. He's offering you nothing. And so we talk about, oh, I love myself. I care about myself. It's all about self-love. I love myself not to be with a deadbeat and this and that. And you'll go right around and say that, but get with someone who is offering you nothing but trouble. And a lot of times women say, I like the thrill, but the thrill is you're going to catch a case because of the kind of illicit means he's in. You're going to get an infection, or a disease, if you're not protecting yourself, you are not protecting your womb if you get pregnant. So like, I'm so sick of this. I love myself. No, you don't. And the reason why you're having issues in loving other people is because you don't love yourself. And the reason why you don't love yourself is because you do not know who you are, whose you are, right? And if you're not Christian, then it is what it is. But I truly believe that sometimes when people don't understand their purpose in life, why they're here, why they are designed the way they are, they have a hard time understanding what they need to be doing in this world. So then people come into their lives that's moving them from that purpose, but they don't know that because they don't even know what their purpose is. I am here for a reason. I don't care what people think of me because I know why I'm here. I know what purpose I have to fulfill, and anyone that comes into my life needs to get in line with that, which is why I chose the husband I had. And the same thing for him. I wouldn't be in his life if I'm not helping him be on the same program that he's on. And this is with anyone. You don't want friends, the job, whatever you decide to get involved in, whatever you're entertaining, you don't want that to take away from the purpose that you have in your life. And everyone has a purpose, right? Everyone has a purpose and why they're here. How you fulfill that purpose is dependent, because for a long time I'm like, okay, what is my purpose? What is my purpose? When really, I think it's semantics. A lot of times we confuse that with gifts and talents. So I guess essentially I always knew what my purpose was. But what I didn't know is what my gifts and talents were and how I can use that to fulfill my purpose. When you truly understand that, when you understand, all that you encompass and all of your strengths, and understanding your weaknesses, because we have to hold ourselves accountable and understand that we do have weaknesses. When we do that, then we say, okay, now I love the person who created me, created these gifts, and we're talking about God. And so now I'm going to go ahead and fulfill that, and no one is going to tell me anything different. No one's going to tell me who I am. I don't need people to read me and tell me the kind of person I am. I know who I am, and I'm going to be honest on my weaknesses as well, and I'm going to do better and be better. And that means the decisions that I make is you know is going to make sure it's falling in line with that purpose. So sometimes people don't know who their parents are, and that's fine and right. And our identity is wrapped into our parents as well, right? Is wrapped into, and that's why both parents. It is essential to have both parents in the house. Your identity in who you are is going to be wrapped in your father, right? Your mother. But even without that, knowing whose you are, knowing that God created you and you're here for a reason is essential, right? And you're right. Yes, God is not a person. So God is a spiritual being, and we have to realize we are also spiritual beings as well, right? And so of course this right here is our body, right, on earth, but we are spiritual beings. And I think that when you finally understand who you are, you understand your purpose, why you're here, you understand the gifts and the talents you bring into this world and to others, we start to have value in ourselves. Then we start to love ourselves. Then we start to respect ourselves, and understanding that love and respect goes hand in hand. And the reason why we do that is because, think about when you're in a relationship. There's no way you're going to love someone you don't respect. When you start to respect yourself, you are going to love yourself. When you respect others, you would start to love them. So when you're in a relationship, and I'm talking to women here because a lot of women are on this self-love tip, if you don't, if you can't say, oh, I love him, but I don't respect him. No, that doesn't work that way. If you respect him, you're going to love him, because there's your women, for love for a man is respect, but for a woman to fully love a man, you're gonna need to have to be able to respect. What is respect? A level of admiration for a person and their abilities and their achievements. How do you love someone who has nothing, right? He has no abilities, no achievements. Like, you're not going to, when you start to not respect someone, you're going to talk to them a certain kind of way, you're going to do certain things. So we have to understand that love and respect is going to go hand in hand, especially for a woman. And I'm saying this because a lot of women say that they love people and they don't even show respect to them. They disrespectful, they're mean, they're nasty. You see women on online that are like that. Yeah. And so I think that if we we love ourselves, we can then love others. You cannot love others if you do not love yourself. This is why relationships are failing, because people are in relationships with other people and they have no confidence in themselves. This is why someone can be emotionally and mentally and physically, right? Um, mistreating us because we don't know when to leave. We don't think we deserve better, right? And sometimes we're not even doing better, right? But that doesn't mean that we don't deserve love. But a lot of people are getting in relationships and wondering, well, why is this person? If you truly love yourself, you're gonna respect your body too. So you're not gonna have your body getting all out of whack. You're not. Your body's not gonna be all out of whack. So if you truly say, and I know a lot of people say, oh, that's body shaming. It's not. It's not body shaming, because when you love yourself, you treat your body as a temple. And I'm not saying you're going to be perfect, but you're going to treat your body as a temple and say, you know what? I'm going to make sure I get where I need to be. Same thing. As women, it amazes me that we don't see our body as a temple, but we put so much energy and time in our books, in our education, and we want to perfect that. But the thing that's attached to us, our body, we make sure we get our clothes, our hair looking good. But the thing that we put in our body, the thing that we say out of our mouth is filth. Why is that? Don't we love ourselves enough to eat things that are nutritious enough? Don't we love ourselves to say things that is going to add value to ourselves and others? We say nasty things to ourselves. Oh, I'm this, I'm that. And it's not edifying. We're saying disrespectful things to others. So I need to understand um, why people talk about self-love as if it's just only self-care. Oh, I love taking care of myself and my clothes and this, but you're laid up to someone who doesn't respect you, and you're okay with that. That is not the same thing. Your child is um being mistreated by the person you're in a relationship with, but you love yourself. Your child is an extension of you. The lack of self-love that we have in this world. And if you haven't, go to my online website. I think I have it on my Instagram as well. But my website, mrsdanielledevita.com, there is a link I have on there that talks about self-love, and you do some type of survey. And I think it's only 10 questions. I received so many surveys where women are saying that, I don't know who it is, women or men, most likely it's going to be a woman doing this particular survey, but it's a self-love test. And it says at the end, the results are, I will be in a relationship even if it means, the worst for me, because I'm afraid I will not be able to find someone else. Or I feel like, I'm not beautiful unless I put on makeup. I'm not. So basically it's a lack of self-love. And the sad thing about it is, these are going to be people that's in relationships, and if that person is preying on you, PREY, they're going to use the fact that you don't love yourself or respect yourself, or use your depression or things like that against you, because they know you don't love yourself. So they're going to use that. There's lots of men, I call them hobo, HOBO, hobosexuals, where they are getting in relationships with people who are not, they purposely get with people who are not physically, appealing, whether it's in their body, their weight, or if it's, their face or whatever. They'll get with someone like that, just so they can take their money. This is men. They'll get with the woman and they use her for her money, use her for her car, her house, whatever have you, because they think they know they pick the right one who doesn't appear to love herself. It's not about her physical necessarily, about self-care, because some of those women, they still got the nice clothes on, got the hair, but this is about a woman he can tell that she does not love herself, so he uses her and he sits in her home in her car while she's going to work and things like that. She doesn't love herself. He knows that. He's using her for her money, her car. I'm telling you, it happens. They'll use the woman for their resources. And then you'll be like, well, why? That man didn't have a job. He didn't have nothing. He was no good. Yes, he was no good. But you couldn't see that because you didn't love yourself enough. You were desperate to be with someone. And then you paid for his bills and bought his clothes and did all of these things. And now after years, you're upset and you're mad and you're angry with men, or you're angry with black men, or you're angry with whatever have you, when really you didn't love yourself. You saw the signs, but you ignored it because of your desperation. And when you're desperate, when you get to the point where you're desperate, it's a lack of self-love. It's hard. It's sad to say. Now, this is women that I'm talking about, but there are men out there. If you're listening, if you're a guy, you know a man, you know another man that you probably see out there that doesn't care about himself. He doesn't love himself enough to get with women that are gonna be in his best interest. He get with women who runs him over. He seems to be a little bit passive. She seems to be a little bit dominant, and they don't love and respect themselves enough to say, you know what, I'm not gonna be in a relationship with a woman who disrespects me. I've seen men in relationships with women who are totally disrespectful to them, but they'll stay in that relationship. And for some men, like I said, with the homosexuals, if they're in that kind of relationship, they'll put up with that because they are getting a benefit. They're either getting the money or the cars or the resources the woman has, or they're getting the cookie. So some people put up with it because there is a benefit, there is an end game. And other men put up with it because they don't love themselves enough to get with women that is going to be respectful and with the same values that they have. So there is both ends. It's not just women, but I do think with women, there's a lot of issues with self-love. A lot of women do not love themselves enough. They may say they do. They may say that they're happy and they're okay with themselves, but they're really not. They're not. And now, I'm not talking about people who are just, they want to aspire and do better, but they're not there. I'm talking about people who truly do not love themselves, because everyone has work to do. We're not perfect. Hey, I want to get my body right, and this is why I work out. This is why I have a trainer. But it also includes nutrition, which is something that it's a mental battle. We're all working on that. But I'm talking about people who have completely let themselves go. It is a form of, self-hate. So that is all I have for you. I don't want to be on here long. I just wanted to talk for a little bit because I know I have to go. But it's sad. There's a lot of people that just do not love themselves, and I have stories for days that I could talk about, but of course, confidentiality and things like that. But the lack of self-love, and this is not for one group of people. This is not an issue with just black women or black men. I can tell you, it's not that. This is just something going on in our society where we just do not know who we are and what we are doing in this world. So we just going around all cavalier, doing whatever, doing whoever, and we're not even walking with a purpose at all. So if you're out there, go ahead and get yourself love. Start to love yourself. Understand who you are. Find out what your purpose is, your gifts are, your talents, and try to walk in it. Try to walk in it. No competing with the opposite gender. There's no need to compete. We're different. We're equal, but we're different, and that's okay. All right. Thank you all so much for tuning in to a live with Mrs. Danielle DeVita. Hopefully I'll come up with a recorded video tomorrow or so if I can do that. Thanks. Take care.